Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Market Check. There is no second best daily YouTube live stream to talk about markets. Welcome, guys, to another episode brought to you, of course, by BB. I'm Tommy. You also know me as Snorlax. I'm joined by Max and Unbothered Chef Jackus. Welcome to you guys as well. Hope everybody's having a great start to the week. I know it has been a volatile week thus far, up then down. we all are kind of wondering, of course, where we will be trading next. Looking across the board, though, lots of volatility in both crypto and equities, and we're going to cover it all for you guys, as well as where we think price is headed here over the next few weeks, over the next few days, and of course, probably talking about what to expect over the course of the Trump administration. Obviously, we have the inauguration coming up in about 2 weeks. Narratives that are heading into the inauguration really influencing and driving what we're seeing from price thus far. But before we can talk about that a little bit more in depth, guys, you know what I'm about to ask you. Can you smash that like button? Can you slam the like button for us? Take out any hate, anger that you might have over the last few days of coin prices and hit that like button for us. Take out all that frustration on the like button. We would be very, very appreciative, guys. But of course, we will cook you guys up a delicious meal nevertheless. They are eating the coins. I made that joke yesterday. They are still eating the coins. Obviously, we had a pretty aggressive move lower yesterday, a little bit more aggressive than one I was expecting. I think that we're now seeing majors such as ETH and Solana trade into very important levels from a structural standpoint. Bitcoin, of course, just doing its merry thing, trading within a range. I made that joke on our Discord call last week. Bitcoin's kind of in like rangeception right now, but obviously the movements that we're seeing in bonds, we're seeing in yields, and of course the dollar is putting some strain on risk assets. We're seeing that especially affect altcoins. That should be no surprise. We've seen a similar dynamic kind of play out since 2022. But of course, like I said, we are seeing these assets trade into important levels now. It's time to expect some strength to show up or not. Obviously, some altcoins look like they're ready to come back into demand. Maybe they base and form higher. Maybe they don't. Like I said, we're going to talk about all that and more on this show. But you have to hit the like button if we're going to talk about your favorite assets today. But yeah, quite a bit of volatility that we're seeing in these markets. And I do think that it will continue to be worth watching the movements that we're seeing in yields of the dollar. And I think the wild card in here as well is equity volatility, things that we've discussed yesterday, but that play a very important role in the factors that are driving price. But yeah, I'd love to know what you guys are seeing in the markets. I will say before I open up the discussion a little bit more, on-chain is kind of an interesting area right now, right? Because you have, obviously we are seeing quite a bit of carnage when we look at majors, when we look at some of these altcoins that are trading on centralized exchanges, but there are certain pockets within on-chain that are still performing. So I do think that needs to be stated. The degens, or at least the ones who are able to pick the right winners, are still able to find some very good opportunities in this market, even despite the price action that we've seen over the last 48 hours. But I'd love to get y'all's thoughts on the market. We are 2 weeks out from Trump's inauguration, a time period that we believe will be very contextually important for a lot of the way that these assets, these proxies have been moving. I'd love to get y'all's thoughts on that, as well as what we've seen over the last 24 to 48 hours.
Panic. Panic and suicidal thoughts and cheating.
Every time you put that "whoa, Jack" as your profile picture, Jack is.
Yeah, the PFP meme game is on, but no worries, guys. It was so over, just a week ago. Then we were so back, and now it's so over again. But the good news is that after it's so over, it's going to be back again.
You can't be back before it's over, and it can't be over before we're back. Such
Basically.
is the way of life, the duality of markets. And we've seen a lot of that duality, I think, already this week, right? We pumped on a Monday, we dumped on a Wednesday. I think we're kind of waiting for that true directionality for the way that this week is going to trade. But I'm going to continue to go back to, I think the things that are really driving price right now, as unexciting and uneventful as they are what we're seeing in yields, the dollar, and of course, in bonds as well.
Listen, Mr. Trump was trying to tell us ahead of the election. He was serving at McDonald's. He was trying to give us a hint. You just didn't get it. Flipping the fries, putting the salt.
Fries in the bag, bucko.
Oh,
I mean,
man.
the tough part about this year so far, which is it's been 8 days, just to put things into perspective. You know, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green days in a row, and then boom. So I think it's, it's just early year chop, like ETH moved up off of its open. ETH moved up off the open. Then we had a little OI rinse. Then we swept the yearly open today, and we're just sitting on top of it. Bitcoin's still slightly above it. We've also seen this before. Like even last year was a really, really prime example of that kind of move, that like really dramatic move right off the open that ends up basically punishing those that positioned maybe a little bit too aggressively, a little bit too early, and they get stress tested, right? But if you've been in this market for weeks or months or years, positioned in swing trades, like I always say this, I think a lot of people have a difficult time sort of grappling with this idea of, hey, we just pulled back and had a bad daily candle. That doesn't mean that the next 6 months are cooked because one bad day in the markets. And I think that a lot of people kind of emotionally conflate this idea of one bad day meaning that the market's over forever, right? And then when the market's down, everybody gets pessimistic, right? You go on X. Here's what happened in macro today that caused the sell-off in Ethereum, and this many liquidations hit, and why I'm so bearish in Q1 of 2025, like where were you when we were pumping at 102 with your macro thesis, right? Like we know there was a 3 drive into the high. We saw it, right? We knew we moved up off the open. But it's like the point is like don't look at the sentiment online right now and be like my year is cooked. Alt season is canceled because we had 1 or 2 bad days within the first half of January following a Bitcoin halving year. Like what? I don't even know what everyone's so worried about. Like, if Bitcoin's green on the year, and it could go a little bit lower and it still wouldn't matter, But I do think that we are starting to see like a climax in. We are starting to see a climax in like how shit sentiment is, man. I mean, it's gloomy out there, man. It is really, really bad. But I don't know. I mean, I just think a lot of people are really just. I think a lot of people are just way too worried about like 1 or 2 days price action personally.
Do you know what's the best about the down days?
Getting to get 1,000 DMs asking me if Andy's okay.
Oh, I love that part. Like that's tremendous. But
When we're
apart from
pumping, people message me, "Do I have enough?" When we're down, bro, what's happening? Dude, watch one of my videos. I don't know what to tell you.
The down days are
Literally.
always funnier than they're funnier, right? We make more money, we have more fun when things are pumping, but the down days produce the best memes. at least in my
Exactly.
opinion.
Exactly. That's what's so good about the down days, especially if people can like take it, right? Like
Are you
enjoy
winning,
them.
son?
Yeah. There is our little investor. Luckily, Christmas are long gone by, man.
Oh man, I don't know. I mean, it's just not a problem. I don't know. Like, I know what's gonna happen next. I'm just annoyed that people are whining at me to tell them it's okay. I'm happy to do it, but am I gonna be okay? January 6th changes everything. Oh my gosh.
So,
We had an
some of
OI rinse after a move up off the open. This has never happened before. I don't know. Like, it's fine. It's all fine. We're gonna pump. ETH BTC is gonna rip face. But you
some
should
of
sell.
the some of the most stressful things in life: graduating, having first time sex, and your family members asking you about crypto.
Yeah.
Well, this is exactly why I never like to, when people ask me, oh, is it a good time to buy crypto? I'm like, I don't know. I hope it is, but I can't predict the price action 1 to 2 months out. I always say, the high time frame thematic, 6 to 12 months out is very optimistic. We have some great catalysts. I don't know when it's going to pump, but I do think that it will in time. At least that's how I framed it over Christmas when a ton of people were asking me, is it a great time to get in? Because there were a lot of people, I will say, over Christmas asking me about crypto, asking me about altcoins. And I think I learned my lesson after last cycle, right? You don't want to tell people to buy the top and then accidentally ruin a friendship, or even worse than that. But you do know over a certain period of time, this asset class does tend to go higher.
I just tell everyone to buy. And I just tell them they're going to end up waking up and wishing they were dead some days, and they can deal with it. They're like, no, I can handle it. I'm like, I don't know if you can, but you should buy then. You should try. But just know it's going to be terrible. Like, you think you're going to buy and you're just going to like get rich. And really, it's just like the biggest emotional roller coaster stress test of all time. And I always say, I'm like, you should buy, but there's going to be some days when you wish you could just take it all back and you should have never done this. No, bro, I understand. And then they text me and they're like, "Am I okay?" And I'm like, "I told you. You should have just stuck. You just should have stuck with your job. Like, I don't know why you wanted to get into crypto. It's tough, because days, weeks like this, right? Then you got to sit here and you got to look at the price and you got to be like, it's going to take some time, right? Most people are too emotional to handle it. That's the truth, But those that somehow can work through it typically end up okay.
And
You gotta
time
work
in
through
this market is proven to be quite difficult, right? Jack is with a great meme to kind of reflect that. But I do think that given the timing of kind of where markets are, where just kind of geopolitical events are, I tend to think there's going to be an inflection point around the time of the inauguration. I don't think it'll last longer than that necessarily. I think contextually, and I'll continue to say this as I've been saying the last few days, I think it makes sense for the dollar to top around the time that Trump gets inaugurated. I think it makes sense for probably yields to top around the time that Trump gets inaugurated. There are these narratives that we are going to stop fiscal spending, that we are, probably going to be raising yields. And I think that narrative can persist in the pricing of markets until he gets inaugurated. But I think when reality sets in, that they're not going to stop spending, that it's a populist presidency with a full mandate from the people, and I'm going to keep saying that word for word, you will likely see these assets, or rather these proxies that have been holding the market down, start to reverse.
It's a great meme, Jackus.
It is, and it's how it really is. And the tough part in trading isn't the TA as much as it is important, but it's patience, knowing what's going on, and then your emotions. It's always been like that. This is where, if you look at and read any history book, any book trading, investing related, this is where people outperform the market, not not in being 200-hour scalpers, but in emotion control and patience. So it's not easy.
Get a blank screen, blank canvas for you to cook on, Jackus.
I swear there were some really good comments before that I read, and I laughed at. By the way, guys, I didn't listen to my funny voice from yesterday, so I still don't know how it sounds. But I heard it was epic, so. And I'm testing a new mic today as well. So
Well, if we
hopefully
hear the helium start to come out, we'll let you know.
Jackus, do you have any charts? I'm just looking at a blank screen right now. I don't know if you knew that or not.
It's funny though, isn't it? Whoosh. 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 You're now underwater.
Many such cases.
What do we want to look at, guys? What do we want to look at?
Well, I mean, let's look at majors. I'd love to talk about. I mean, I wouldn't love to talk about it, but we kind of do need to talk about, obviously, yields, bonds, and the dollar. Maybe not the dollar. I think we're all kind of on the same page as far as the dollar goes, but maybe yields at some point. Obviously, one of my favorite things to do after days like yesterday, or rather the last 48 hours, is to kind of look at, what chart kind of had the funniest move. You got to find some silver lining. Is that Dash?
Yeah, you said let's look at majors, and I was like, what do I look at? And then I was thinking, LTC, boring. But what's next? And then I was like, oh, what about all these coins from 2017? Let's see how they are doing. The Burj Khalifa pattern.
Todd just said this is 75% of my portfolio.
What?
Maybe he's talking about the chart rather than the asset.
Okay.
What did the OG dinos look like? Because I feel like over the last few days, those have probably been some of the stronger markets. XRP, Cardano. I know you're a lot more familiar with those charts than I am.
Yeah, well, those are looking very good. I think those are kind of here to stay and do well. Obviously, not stuff like Dash. Let me wait. I still do need to find. I think it's this one. Forget this wig though, but yeah, this was crazy.
Holy moly. There is no second best.
Well, it's insane how much you need to zoom in so that you can see the candles today. My favorite. The funniest and saddest part is that I did it somewhere around here. All right, so you said majors.
Yeah, I'd love to talk about Sol and ETH, specifically the moves that we just kind of had on them. Sol is a little bit cleaner than ETH, I think, but that was a bit of a nasty rejection from a level what I was kind of looking to see if we'd get a reclaim out of. I kind of feel like Sol needs to give some sort of double bottom at this point, or at risk re-accepting back into that range that we traded in for 6 months.
Yeah, I mean, we had a pretty solid bounce from, you know, from a solid support. It is absolutely normal that afterwards the price pulls back. Like even if we look at August 5th, we had a very strong bounce. Then the market rejected, right? And that, and I think that's kind of similar this time too, by the way. Um, the August 5th drop was scary to lots of people, but it very quickly rebounded and kind of went through. But the sentiment was the worst on September, actually, not in August. And I feel right now the sentiment is pretty shitty, maybe even more shitty than on this day. Hard to say, but it's pretty bad.
I definitely think it's worse today than it was at that low.
Yeah, I think so too. Like today, people are really feeling it. Like I feel nobody can take it anymore. It's a tough time in the market, but and I mean that's crazy, right? Like the prices have been up for a long time. Obviously, not on every single coin out there, but people should be in. Well, they should be in a profit overall. For if they are not, then something is definitely wrong. But I suppose it's not the type of profit as everyone thought it would be by now. And the fact that it's taking so long is probably what's causing the sentiment. Like it's like not another pullback, right? Like not another range. Like fuck it, man. Ugh. If I
I do think
look at
participants are pretty exhausted after the last,
yeah,
obviously that 6 to 7 month range took a lot out of people. You had a huge pump. People are thinking this is the one. As we've seen though, you know, not just from price action, you have the Dow Jones up. You've compared this move, or rather this cycle, to what we've seen on the NASDAQ. It's not quite up in a straight line in the same way that crypto participants are used to. That's probably something that we get at the very end of the cycle. And I'm going to say, the longer that it takes for us to reach that period, the bigger or the higher to space, right? The bigger the base, the higher to space it will inevitably go. It's just right now it is very much a war of attrition. Uh, are you capable of holding on to your high conviction bags through thick and thin in a market that has been very unkind to altcoins, very unkind to breakout traders, and ultimately very unkind to any and all forms of leverage?
indeed. I think what's really causing this maybe is this one. Um, because in the prior cycle you had like the first move, then you had the pullback, and then you basically started to run already, right? This was the same in the prior one where you had the bottom, you had the run, you had the pullback, and then you were straight up running. I feel like this time, right, if you are looking at this one, like not that much has changed, but people kind of, I suppose, expected the others dominance, and by the way, this is others dominance chart excluding coins out of top 10, which means majors, which means BTC, XRP, Doge, BNB, Solana. Likely, I'm not sure what's exactly as of today in the top 10, but that should kind of be it. So it's showing the performance and dominance of all shitters. And so what kind of people were expecting is this, right? Kind of straight up, and they were expecting it from here. And we like are oh, shit. We are getting so many shakeouts and fake outs, and it's just really tiresome. And that's kind of how I feel people feel. That again, you know, we sorry, kind of messed up chart. Um, that instead of running here, you get like this fake out, and then we had finally this move, which felt amazing, and then we had this one, and people are like, all right, but now let's go. And instead, you're once again getting like this week. It again doesn't change like anything really, but it's just annoying to wait in it. I feel like maybe Max is feeling it the same, and I think he stated it yesterday. It's like, it's just tiresome.
I'm exhausted, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I'm ready, man. We're overdue.
We
I'm
are
tired of
more.
this chop, man. It's time to let the slingshot do its thing, you know. And like I'm confident in all my bags, like extremely confident. I'm just like, you know that meme that's like, I bet he's thinking about other girls, and it's like fucking Bitcoin piece of shit. You know?
Yeah.
Like for me, it's like fucking ETH piece of shit, 4K mega resistance. Ugh, you know, it's like, man, just wake me up when ETH's over 4K. You know, like I'm done. I'm done watching it dink around and let the Euro scalpers 200R. You know, whatever. You know, just rip it or send it to zero. I'm here for both. You know what I mean? That's all there is to it. 4100 or zero. I don't care. Do your worst.
I feel, just to give you an idea, I think this is probably one of the best representations of it, of like the time of this sort of give me this or that, is this tweet. If you think about it, alts had very wild sell-off in April last year. So that's nearly a year ago. And GCR, which was considered, maybe still is, who knows, as one of the.
We lose Jackus.
Yeah, sorry, I
Oh.
accidentally turned off my mic. If you really think about it, GCR was considered one of the best, if not the best trader on CT, and he was making this tweet in April. It's still there, April 13th, and he said, "If you've been sidelined, believe this is a good opportunity to scale into high conviction tokens. If you're fully invested, just survive, hold your spot positions, and do not capitulate." Someone once said liquidations are forced transfer of wealth from traders who need leverage to wealthy spot buyers. I was enjoying retirement from social media, but don't want to see my brothers get shaken out when the future is still so bright. So just thinking of this, right? Like he's considered probably one of the best, if not the best. He made this tweet in April. And since April, really not much has happened. Again, if I zoom out a little, this was basically, sort of like April happened here. And since then, you're kind of at the same time. So it's not that he was really wrong, right? I think I think alt, and let me give a random altcoin to me to look at, right?
Bojack is so funny.
Yeah.
Let's do Pepe, Jackus. Let's do Pepe.
I'm not sure that Pepe is like the best representation
How
of it.
about BNB?
Should be probably out of
the top 10.
Yeah.
Okay. How about like, I don't know.
General meme should be, something like that.
What about like Doge?
Sorry, not meme. General alt. Don't think that Doge kind of belongs in that category too, but because Doge did pretty well considering from like April, but I think there is so many alts, and I think Doge might be in top 10. I'm not sure right now, but like if you were to look at, let's do like Floki,
Doge is 7th right now.
Oh,
so yeah, so I think this is better representation of the general alt, right? I'm not sure what. Let me actually see what Doge is right now when it comes to market cap. Yeah, Doge is number 7.
I'm sorry to cut you off, Jackus. I just wanted to say I think part of the reason people feel so beat down is because so many people are gambling this cycle on increasingly speculative assets, and you have metas that are, it feels like, moving faster and faster. than the previous cycle, right? This time it was AI agents. In the past, it was animal coins. At the end of the day, the people who bought the most speculative assets of those metas got completely wrecked when the market pulled back, despite the fact that, as you've been pointing out, you have stronger altcoins or larger cap altcoins that haven't suffered nearly the same drawdown.
Yeah, I think again, Doge is top 7, so it's not even included in others. And I think there's been, like so far, it's kind of been mostly just the majors that did well. I think just like any cycle that will change, but the hard time is exactly what everyone's feeling right now, which is in the waiting. But if you were to look at stuff like AVAX, that's, I think, the good representation of this. And I think AVAX is actually doing pretty decent, because there's lots of alts that are like around these levels right now. So this was the April 13th pretty much drop, which was the tweet based from. And since then, the price is basically the same level as it was in April, right? But if you were to look at BTC, since April, price is way higher. It's not like something crazy, but it at least is higher. And most people are not positioned in BTC; they are positioned in alts. So they are like, yeah, that's nice. Bitcoin is up, and like I'm glad. But when is my turn? When is my coin going to go up, right? Or my coins, because hopefully people are diversified. But the thing is that it's been a while. It's been nearly a year. We had this sell-off, and not to mention, right, that so many people capitulated during the August 5th drop. So lots of them been buying back way higher. So like they probably bought here, then maybe some didn't, but sold off here, rebuying, and it's just tiresome for many, right? Again, looking at this tweet, you are basically at the same price. So it's not like it was right. It was wrong. It's kind of flat basically, but that flatness is just exhausting people. And I think that's kind of what the powers at B are trying to do as well, as much as they can. We'll see if Trump's inauguration changes this, because I think it does, because fundamentally a crypto positive environment must be by nature positive, but we'll see which alts get positively affected by it or not. Let's see DOT, right? Again, DOT, Polkadot. Not that you bought Polkadot, but it's like, it's at the same price from April. Literally the same price from this tweet. It's where it is. If you go, I don't know, let's see, Uniswap. Uniswap is higher, so that's a nice change. Do you guys have any news, by the way, on their fee revenue share with the token holders?
No,
I like that idea.
Is that new?
Oh no, that was announced long ago, but then they have been charged by the SEC, and there's been the battles going on. So I think this move was the revenue share announcement, but I'm not sure if it's like proceeded or what's the current state. Then there were some fights with SEC. I'm not sure if it was here. I think it was like here. This was the SEC announcement, and then this kind of happened.
Yeah, I think the strongest DeFi coin has been Aave, at least as far as like, what are the DeFi 1.0 coins that have been kind of overcoming that, that obviously that SEC oversight, or not oversight, that overregulation that the SEC has had. And I think that's part of it too. Not just Trump getting inaugurated, but a regime change in government entities that have been holding back crypto as well.
Yeah, I think Render is good representation too. So as you can see, lots of the alts that people actually hold, when It's like they're trying to make calculated bets, right? Like to some people, it sounds smart to be positioned in a decentralized GPU. Some people will think something else makes more sense. But in general, if you look at, as I just outlined, if you look at all of these, it's at levels it's been from that April sell-off. And that's what I think people are feeling with this. It also shows you, by the way, this tweet shows you that as much as you have better or worse people out there, trying to anticipate the market moves, nobody is controlling fully the market or like knows what's going to happen, right? At the end of the day, you play the high conviction, high probabilities, and by emotion control and patience, you can beat it. But that's and like no shit that like this is truly challenging time. But I think what you guys and myself, have been trying to communicate is truly that you just need to like there is no sugarcoating it. You just need to be able to mentally handle this. Otherwise you ain't going to win.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. And I think that people have been obviously buying altcoins that they think, and I do believe the market will, like, inevitably, right, at a certain point of the cycle. I'm guilty of doing the same. And the market has been, it's been pretty consistent, like Bitcoin, and then it's been what's the on-chain meta at the given time. And I think until you see one Bitcoin dominance start to break down on a broader level, and of course, those later stages of a cycle, where you see more dispersion, you see more liquidity, you're just going to continue to kind of see these retraces back to previous levels, because we are ultimately, a lot of these assets remain pretty tethered to liquidity. Although, Jackus, what is the Bitcoin and ETH versus M1SL or M2SL? I'm not quite sure which one you use. What do those charts look like right now? Because I think that will play a big role too. If altcoins are entirely a function of liquidity, and to a large extent they are, we're going to need to see majors, for starters, break out against global monetary supply before we start to see uncorrelated movements.
They are looking really good, both of them. And it once again underlines what I've been saying, what we've been saying, that patience is required. That's all you can do about chops like this, basically. Obviously, you can, try to trade it on like the daily, because as you can see, I'm the weekly. But but apart from that, patience is required. I think what I've noticed lately is that the money supply, as much as they are like trying to do the QT, right? Like if you look at what's the ticker for it? Well, CL, yeah. So they're trying to convince you that it's like the QT going on, and it might be to some degree still. But if you actually look at the M1 money supply, it's starting to trend higher, which is pretty interesting here. Obviously, the M2 SL have been trending higher even more. And what this tells me is kind of like, hey, alts are, or sorry, alts, assets are outperforming. They are outperforming the rising liquidity in the market. So that tells me that if first they will be outperforming based on adoption, but second, they'll also outperform based off new liquidity that's going to be created. So that's like two catalysts, right? Because the prior one was, again, just a printing cycle. The prior cycle was just a printing one. But this one is going to be both, in my opinion.
I agree. And I still think inevitably we'll see the most amount of outperformance from crypto when we get that true adoption, right? Because ultimately what crypto's primary utility is evolving into increasingly is the non-sovereign storages of value. It's money that you can hold outside of the system that will maintain its value against fiat, that you feel comfortable having, obviously not in a bank. It's an inflationary hedge. I think these are all things that crypto will ultimately realize at certain points of this cycle. And while that is going to be tethered to liquidity and stimulus, that will also be tethered to outperformance inevitably against liquidity and obviously other major financial assets, because that was initially the fundamental utility of crypto at its inception, right? To have a currency or a storage of value that wasn't fiat currency that spawned 10 15 years ago with Bitcoin, and it's been continued. There's been a lot of scams. I'm not going to say that every crypto is going to be the next Bitcoin, but I do think the crux of what I'm saying is it's money outside of the system that's supposed to hold value and serve as a form of exchange.
Yeah. Guys, I'm glad you are enjoying this, saying that it's gold, alpha, and so forth. But like, what about the like button? Who's pressing that?
See where we're at. Yeah, y'all need to hit the like button.
Like me cooking here for you, just like because I want to help you, and then I check the like button and it's not where it's supposed to be, It's underwhelming.
How bad is it?
They probably panic liking right now, but it was 224 when I looked just a minute ago. So
Wow.
less than a half.
Yeah, y'all do need to hit the like button. We need to hit 400 likes more on this stream, boys.
Maybe this is a good time to do our maintenance, Tommy, in the meantime.
Sure. I can do that. Let me,
I'll put soybeans in the middle, but you can share the screen if you need to.
Yes, I will present. You guys are gonna have to hear me yap for a few minutes.
What is that blob, Jackus? Is that TA?
I think so. I think we are doing it on like
a super secret TA.
We are doing it on like 1 minute probably.
Maybe the 1 second. Oh my.
Yeah, that had to be a.
Is that a rocket ship? Oh.
I have no idea what is that.
Yeah, guys, let's run these likes up. I got a little chart for you guys too. All right, we're almost at 300. That's pretty good.
You can get the poop emoji on there too.
You can, and you should probably put it on the East chart.
Be interested to see what your object tree looks like for some of these charts, Jack.
It's crazy.
Teasing them with the first half of that fractal.
Hey,
you're pulling a me.
Max, I have so many folders and I have so many charts and it's still not enough. So many paid things on all. Oh, brother. I will find a clean one, I swear.
We should have Z make a something where Jackus is an artist with the with his logo, but the Bob Ross painting. We don't already have one. I think we have one for you, Max, right?
I think so.
Now that's an accurate TA.
Yeah. I would have liked to see the coins bouncing with the VIX getting crushed.
Is VIX getting crushed right now?
A little bit.
What's it at?
It's 18.
We need that down at 12, Tommy. We need a real crush.
I think it'll come back down into at least probably like 16 and 16 and a half. And then I'll be watching it again.
Oh my gosh. What is that?
That's an object tree. What
Oh,
is
wow.
that?
That's a siren in the back.
Are they
the ETH ambulance right there.
Are they coming for you?
They're coming for me.
Is it that bad, guys?
Tommy's hanging off of his balcony right now. He can't look at ETH anymore.
Still better than when my fire alarm used to go off at my old apartment, and it was just screeching loud.
This was my test on GBP USD being the Euro scalper.
200R.
200R. Yeah, just regulars, you see 5.6, 2.71.
But they add up to 200R, right?
Listen, if you nail it, you will say that you hold, and you will just keep postponing. and then what you do, by the way, you lower the stop loss, and suddenly that's 340R.
All right, we got the likes up 318. Not bad.
Better than 224.
Much better. Jackus, I need some Ethopium today. Do you have anything?
Yeah, that's the reason why I came for the pound. Is because I was gonna give you, because I remembered, this sell-off in 2016, and there was this run on these lows. And I think we could get a run on either these or these lows as well. And then it's uptime. Does that help?
It helps a little bit. Yeah.
So this was like the panic sell capitulation. This was like, this one is the best. The panic sell capitulation, and then it's the bounce, and then you sell, and then you kind of run. Apart from that, Max.
Poop. Why is he smiling? He's taunting us.
So what do you do for a living? Well, I draw poops on a chart on a stream for people.
I watch ETH get rejected from 4K for 4 years.
So how do you spend your free time, guys? Well, I watch my most hated asset on 1 minute chart wreck me day after day after day. It's so much fun.
There is nothing that people love more than selling 4K ETH. It's like the most favorite activity in crypto.
Yeah, some people wait for Christmas, and some people wait for 4K to short it.
Like if ETH even gets close to 4K, just everybody full stack Jeets. Suddenly the Ethereum Foundation has a lot of operational expenses they need to cover.
ETH Foundation.
ETH Foundation.
ETH Foundation.
Has Vitalik tweeted in a while? I haven't even checked.
Dude, we need a Vitalik bull post right now.
I think he fudded it like 4 months ago.
He fudded ETH.
Yeah, he like basically laid out a short thesis for ETH.
Bro, what is his deal?
Oh, he tweeted 20 hours ago. Nice.
What did he tweet?
Oh, he tweeted an hour ago. Stuff that I can't describe. It's too complicated.
Okay.
Up or down?
I wish I could even decipher that much.
Tommy, but you're the riddlor.
I'm gonna have to put it into Chat GPT. He out-riddlors me. Or he's just on a different wavelength of intelligence and I can't keep up.
I don't know, man. I keep going back to this chart and I'm just like, this just has to be, this just has to happen, man. It's just too much pain, you know? There's just been too much pain. We have to be doing this. It doesn't help us on the the 4-hour time frame, but like on the weekly, has to happen.
Well, I have one meme towards that.
All right, back to you then.
This is like the crypto Anon, and he's like, I need more. I need tougher battles. This is too easy. Too easy. No highs taken. Just perma bleed.
I can't believe how long those highs have been left uncontested. I mean, they're not even being pressured, man. It's almost sad. Like I just can't believe how long the ETH BTC pair trade short has worked out. It's astonishing to me. There hasn't even been a good fake out, right? It's just been like, I mean, that's incredible. It's been like 3.5 years. Probably goes to zero, you know.
Yeah, it's over, guys. Pick it up. It's just going to perma bleed like this. Never going to pump again. And they'll be like, give me harder battles. I need more. I need
But you're
more.
already dead.
How are you not that already?
How are you still
How are you
alive?
not? Give me harder battles. How are you still alive?
Back to 95.
Oh my gosh, man.
Oh shoot, did we just puke? A little bit.
Another puke? I feel nothing. I feel nothing. Do you feel, guys, something? I feel nothing. We puked?
I feel everything.
I lived through the 2022 bear market. This is nothing. Ultimately.
I feel like this is that region. Like Jax, I know you were looking at like 94, 93 and a half, 94, something like that. But like this is the spot, man. But all I know is Jim Cramer can't be right. Jim was calling for 90K. Jim can't be right, man. It's just impossible.
Imagine if Jim starts to be right again. Oh no.
Then we are in trouble.
They're eating the coins.
I mean, stocks look okay, man. Like, I don't. Looks fine.
Looks fine.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh, man.
Guys, we need to do a support retest. It is what it is. Survive till 2027. Yeah.
End of Trump pump, pre-melt up? Question mark.
Pre-melt up?
Pre-melt up.
You think so?
I mean, I don't think we have the conditions for it yet, but it's possible.
Now, when you say melt up, you mean 1998 through 2002, right?
No, I mean like probably roaring 20s type of price action, but probably more intense. Given the velocity of monetary supply. But again, I don't think we have the conditions in place for that yet. I've always said if we ever do have a deeper corrective move, you know, that wasn't quite what we expected, it gives them the justification to give massive fiscal stimulus. And I do think that could create a melt up.
Guys, what if?
Dude, I can't even entertain that, Jackus.
Imagine if like everyone wants that recession and SPX just keeps doing this, and everyone wants that crypto alt party and it just keeps doing this.
That's Max Payne, Jackus. Jack is giving heart attacks to the comment section every like 2 or 3 minutes. Jackus, what are your thoughts on the 10-year here? Because I feel like it's worth discussing.
Yeah, it's gotta be topped here for the bull case to continue. This is probably the biggest threat to a bull market for crypto, but I'm struggling. Like, if you look at this, right, and people will say you cannot do TN on yields, but you know it is what it is. I'm struggling to see how these keep doing SPX, kinda, and I think that we should still do this move. Should still do this move to some degree before we probably see higher. Like, I do think we are going to see higher levels in future years. Like, you kind of are going to see this type of reset, and then you can begin the next phase of lowering, like this one. But I think we are just heading. But I think that we should see this type of move here. You know, and that must be coming from it must be coming from these levels. I don't
Do you
know.
not think it can make another high?
No,
'Cause
I
think
do.
I still think TLT can make another low. I know they're not the same, right? But that's just kind of my read of TLT.
Yeah, TLT is already below this low, which is the equivalent of this high. So it's definitely way lower. Maybe the reasoning is, yeah, that this is probably the reasoning, because the TLT is more 30-year bonds, and it does say it in its name that it's 20+ year treasury bond. So it makes sense, because we are likely like there is a fundamental reasoning for it, where we are likely not going to see the long-term bonds anymore ever at these low levels, because nobody wants to borrow to any government for so little. And so it makes sense for the long-term bonds to stay high. But I still think that locally we should be seeing a drop lower, like speaking of the like next year or two. And then yeah, we will likely head higher again to some degree. But charts are charts, markets are markets, and I would find it weird for even long terms to not drop lower.
Yeah, I think you probably see the reflexivity of these continue until the inauguration is my guess. It's just kind of a matter of where are we trading when Trump gets elected. And I saw some great commentary on this from Michael Citrini on Twitter. It's basically we overreact and the market throws a tantrum really throughout the entire cycle whenever yields have gone higher. This is kind of very in line with what we've seen. But the market kind of has like he made a joke about it. It's like the market's responsibility to throw a tantrum about yields to force Trump's hand to be unable to continue the current rhetoric that has obviously caused this move that we've seen in yields. It's what we've seen in bonds, and it's prolonged the the rise of the dollar, or for much longer than we thought it would. So I'm going to continue to just point to the inauguration. I know that's kind of me sounding like a bit of a broken record at this point, but it's 2 weeks away.
Indeed. It's 13 days away with wait, is there a US holiday?
Tomorrow, I think.
Do we have market check tomorrow, by the way?
Is it open tomorrow? What's the deal with the holiday for Jimmy Carter?
I don't have anything.
They close tonight at 8 p.m. and will remain closed until tomorrow at 8 p.m. I forgot we're a 24-hour market now.
Yeah. Anyways, before we solve this, the question on TLT is the fact that I think, the reason TLT is likely, and I still think it should bounce, like to some degree, but the reason it's not having the best of time and likely won't have is because even if we are getting this, I think we are trading higher in the years to come. And that's probably why nobody wants to purchase TLT as well.
Nobody's going to buy treasuries until they have to.
It's mandatory.
Right?
You own a bank, you mandatory must buy TLT.
Doesn't Janet Yellen's still going to prison at the during the next bear market? Book it.
Well, we're nuking.
Are we?
Yeah.
We nuke so hard, my trading view just froze.
Is it?
Not really. It did freeze, but that's not why it froze. I still think you see the VIX get crushed into tomorrow. So you probably get a bounce from here. But hey, it's a nasty looking candle. The SOL price action has been especially brutal. If you go on like the 15-minute or the 1 hour on SOL, it's just been relentless. Somebody has said, "Get me out." at any price.
Yeah, Sol looks heavy, bro. I mean, it's still got some support below it, which is good, but it's, you know. I don't know. The question is, do they run this thing back to like 175, 170, you know? At this point, probably, right?
Anyways, Max, you wanna cook for us something?
No.
No. Okay. He's like, no, not cooking today. Maybe we can put agar on. We haven't had that for a while.
Yeah, it's been a while since we played Agar. I miss those days. Tommy doesn't think market makers exist. Come on, who when did I ever say that? I will say I think people there's like a dichotomy between people's opinions of what market makers actually do. And I think the answer is always, of course, somewhere in the middle. It's like the people who think that market makers are explicitly predatory, just running stops, just trying to take liquidity. They don't really understand what market makers truly do. But at the same time, the people who think, oh, Mr. Innocent Market Maker, just capturing the spread between the bid and the ask, totally benevolent. I think that's a very naive way of looking at market makers as well. The answer is always somewhere in the middle, but crypto is a low liquidity environment. So market making has to be, or rather the search for liquidity is always, to some degree inherently predatory. And I think that you have to keep that in mind. So while market making isn't just like, I'm blaming the market maker for my losses, it's also not, market makers just capture the spread between the bid and the ask. Look at me, I've got the big brain. I know that market makers aren't supposed to do any directional trading. I think that's a deeply, deeply naive take as well. The answer is always somewhere in the middle.
That's true. Like with anything, I would say. Usually.
Now, market making meme coins is a little bit different, I think, because at least from what I've seen over the last few months, when these new meme coins get listed, they're giving supply to market makers. And what ends up happening is, from what I can tell, you have people longing on perps to trade the meme coins once they get futures listings. And then you have really whatever the market maker was who was kind of like given supply, hired as the ones to be market making these coins. A lot of them kind of go bidless because they're longing on perps. Market makers are just kind of selling spot into perps to kind of offset the difference between the bid and the ask. So eventually that creates downside pressure because the longs have to eventually puke when there's no bid. But the market makers are happy to close that spread by selling spot that they were given into those bids. At least that's kind of my interpretation. It's why some of these perps listings for altcoins or like meme coins and AI agents over the last few months end up being down only.
That was a great explanation. I like that.
Well, we've got, looking for like a local bottom here. We've got within our range right here, which we'll just kind of define it loosely as like this region, right? Just this is our range. We've got this little daily naked point of control sitting right here. So this could be a candidate for a local bottom, at least a little relief bounce, something like this. But I think we're going to go a little bit below it. But yeah, it needs to start moving. It needs to start doing something. We've got a value area low as well. Let's see here. Value area. Can't even see that. Here, let's do this. Make it red. Red. Point of control. I'm gonna need the point of control. I mean, this is probably your area right here. Range, value, area low, daily naked point of control. So like 93.5. And then, you know, you've got this little demand zone right here. So, I mean, if this doesn't hold, there's nothing to even talk about. Like, we're just gonna go boom, you know. But like, this is in theory where it should hold. You know, range, value area right here.
I still feel like you should get some sort of bounce, just depending on the VIX, but
No bounces. What is crypto even backed by, Tommy? If you think about it, like, is it even backed by anything?
I feel
is
like
the-
Chub Jack today. Billions.
Billions must die trading crypto.
The question is, what is the fiat money backed by?
Jack, is it's backed by gold, obviously, remember?
I prefer not to speak.
Backed by U.S. Army.
That is.
That's a pretty powerful deterrent. What do you guys think about Greenland? Do you think it plays any role in the current market pricing?
It's not even that green, bro.
Oh, I know. They're total liars. I saw a funny tweet about it. Do you really want your first act in office to be assimilating a bunch of liars?
Yeah, they're color LARPing.
Beautiful, though. I did see some interesting commentary on it, though. It does have some economic and strategic importance going forward, because as the ice melts up there, and this is also, I think, why Canada has been discussed as well, that northern ocean water is going to become a huge shipping route, potentially a big strategic advantage for the United States.
What does that mean for my crypto bags?
I have no idea what it means for crypto, but
Here we go.
Why is the naked point of control called naked?
because it hasn't been tagged.
Yeah, but
No one knows.
Literal
The guy that
reason.
made it is a perv. That's why.
Ask the order flow guys who came up with it.
indeed.
Looks like we're order flowing to new lows is what's happening.
That's it, guys. I sold everything I had. Every coin I own is gone. Completely out of this shithole market. Can't take it anymore. Aggressive dumping, manipulation, everything is so intense. Crypto is over. I'm out. I'm very glad to meet you guys, but life has dreams and each one of them is wonderful.
See, I tweeted that yesterday, Jackus. I know you did as well, but I tweeted it. Always amazes me how many people don't realize it's a pasta.
It's
And so they were
probably
just
the
like, what do you mean you sold everything? What do you mean?
It's probably the most busted pasta in crypto.
It's that one, or it's the that was the final exit pump, and we all fell for it. Never above X price again.
Happy 2025, everybody.
Are you having fun?
Are you winning, son?
There is our little investor. fulfilling his 2025 goals. I feel like
Moved out of your mom's basement yet, Anon?
I feel like this H4 candle on ETH is going to engulf to the upside in the next one.
Which one?
The H4 candle on ETH is going to engulf on the next one.
Jackus, we may never pump again, bro. I don't think you realize.
I don't believe he didn't cry during Titanic. Do men even have feelings? There will never be another whole season.
Okay. That's it for today, guys. That's it. We're done. Tommy, no shill today. Just wish them a safe rest of the week. All right. There will be no product discussion today. Not a single one.
All right, we will wrap up the show on. He's walking on my keyboard, so. Oh no! Okay, am I back? Did I just rug for a second?
You're back. You're back.
Oh no, I can't hear anything. Can you guys hear me? Let me know.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. We wish you a safe rest of this January Carnage week. Brighter times are ahead. Let's get to the inauguration. See you guys all tomorrow. Take care.
Thanks, guys.